good and taking good care of themselves. So today, I'm not going to talk about narcissism, narcissistic parent, or anything, related to mental health or psychology. Um, there's going to be a lot of videos, and in this series, I am going to talk about my spiritual experiences. I mean, definitely, I am going to make videos, on narcissism and, healing from, such form of abuse. And of course, the podcasts are going to be there where I will invite guests and, talk about various topics and subjects. But I mean, these videos are going to be, of a different tone and nature altogether. I mean, it's not going to be, like a lecture or academic, kind of a video. This video, I mean, this one that I'm recording today, it's a personal experience, and this is about my near-death experience. So I had two near-death experiences in my life, and both the near-death experiences literally changed me in every way possible. It was almost like, an incident literally shaking your core, the way how you see things, the way how you perceive, the way how you act, react. I mean, it literally shook my existence. I mean, in simple terms. And both the near-death experience happened, I think, at a gap of 3 years. So my first near-death experience happened in 2010, and the second near-death experience happened in 2013. So I'm going to talk about both the near-death experience. And what I'm basically doing, I mean, at the moment recording this video, is to record a testimony, because I want you guys to know, me better and know where I come from, what I have been through. And I'm sure a lot of you out there must have experienced, phenomena like near-death experience, out-of-body experience, clairvoyance. I mean, a lot of things are there which we often dismiss. Now, before I dive deep, I would of course request you all to like, share, subscribe this channel, my other channel, The Consciousness Dialogue, and please show love and support my other channel. Now let me tell you all how it all started. So I grew up in a very toxic, narcissistic, abusive family. My father was a grandiose narcissist and my mother was a covert narcissist. So there was a lot of abuse since childhood. I mean, there were good time also, but it was very superficial and momentarily. I mean, it was not permanent, or it was not, consistent. I mean, bad things were more consistent in my childhood. In 2006, I completed my education, and I moved out of the house, and I did that because I wanted space. I wanted some me time so that I can figure out things in my life. And by that time I had this understanding and awareness that there was something wrong in my house, in my family, and I didn't want to be like them, nor I wanted to be surrounded by people like them, or them, to be precise. I never wanted to spend my life with them. So I moved out. I started doing work. I had to make money. I had to survive somehow. And I thought that, since I was very creative, I thought, let me explore, uh, fashion, glamour, these industries. So I was doing my, studies. I was continuing my studies, and I also started learning hairdressing. And I did well in that. And it was like 2 years program, diploma. I mean, along with my studies, I started doing this because it was 2 hour, thrice a week, course. So I thought I will be able to make money and, pay my rent and pay for my education and pay for my food. And I mean, that's it. I'll take it from there, and I'll see how, things are. So I started working, and I started, living alone. Um, Initially, my family was upset, but with time, I felt that they had this realization that we can't control her anymore. She's gone. So we need to have another child. We need to recruit another child, you know, who can serve us or who can be my new punch bag or doormat or the scapegoat. Because I spent some time as a golden child, and then I was, stripped of that title because of my curious nature and resisting abuse. They didn't like that. So, I was stripped of that title, and then I was scapegoated. I was the new scapegoat. So, I mean, I'll not go into that, but let me, talk about 2010. So I was alone, and on and off, I was meeting people, making friends. Some of the friends were really crappy, and this was because I never got a taste of what healthy looks like or feels like. So I was attracting all toxic and dysfunctional individuals, thinking that, I'm trying to save them, and then I'll be loved because I'm saving them, I'm helping them, I'll become a good person. But it was all momentarily, and it didn't last long. By that time, after I had moved out, I had got into addiction as well. And this was because I had no one to talk about my pain and suffering. Nobody was there, neither my parent, nor my sibling, nor friends. I had so much of shame, regarding the things that I had experienced, and it was eating me on the inside. So I started taking help of substance. I got into addiction. I had, joined a kind of a cult, cult of the addicts. That's how it happens. And, we started doing it, and it helped me forget things for some time. Or at least when I am in college or when I'm at work, it helped me. I know it's wrong, it's bad, it was bad for my health, but it helped me manage my pain. I mean, that's how I view my situation back then. It was seriously helping me because, I was choking on the inside. I had no one to talk to, nor I had enough money to access therapy. Only later, I, reached out to a psychiatrist, and he helped me, and then, he uh, suggested another psychologist. So both of them helped me a lot. So it was, almost 2 years that I was in touch with both of them, and they helped me come out of that state. They did not help me recover from addiction, but they did help me see things, understand things, and, process things a little better. I had more clarity, I had the language. Now, in 2010, it was, I think, the month of July, and it was raining. I mean, it rains, a lot in Kolkata, have spent a great deal of time over there. So, July was quite rainy, August is also rainy. And it was raining, and then, all of a sudden, I started having this feeling on the inside that I don't belong here. That's how it all started. I mean, I was working, I was, continuing my studies, I was alone, I had access to anything and everything that I wanted. But I started having this feeling that I don't belong here all of a sudden. And it was not that I wanted to commit suicide. Initially, it was that I don't belong here, because there was really no one to talk to how I feel, because everyone was judging, gaslighting, and I was literally suffering on the inside. Now, going back to my childhood, I was very much attracted to goddess Kali. She is a Hindu goddess, and when we were young, when we were kids, in Kolkata, in Bengal, there are these festivals like Durga Puja, Kali Puja, where they worship these female deities. And, there was a weird kind of an attraction that I had for Kali, Maa Kali. I mean, she's, in that fierce form, with a weapon in her hand and wearing a garland of skull, and she's slaying all the demon. Basically, she, slays demons. She gets rid of evil, negativity, darkness, bad thing. So I was very attracted to her. Or maybe I was attracted to her because I was being suppressed. That's how I see now. I was really attracted to her because she appeared to be so liberated. She was just annihilating all evil, all bad folks. And that was so empowering to look at, because I was suffering in silence. And when I'm seeing, a deity that is being worshipped, who's the, slayer of demon, it was so empowering. And I started liking her. This was back in childhood. So every time, whenever there used to be this Durga Puja, Navratri, Kali Puja, it's Hindu festival, there used to be a weird kind of an excitement inside of me that somehow I'll sneak out, either with my sister or, with friends, and, I'll go and, attend these pujas, and I'll see her. And, I really felt good looking at her. I felt as if, I'm seeing myself. I mean, I hope it makes sense. I felt a stronger version right in front of me, who's just not scared of any goddamn thing, who's ferocious and motherly at the same time. So it was really very fascinating, Maa Kali. So that was there. Now, coming back to 2010, it was July and it was raining. And I think from March onwards, I was having this feeling that I don't belong here. I was into addiction, study, and work. Somehow surviving, but it was very lonely. I had no one to talk to. But one thing that I did, after I moved out, was that I made a small little, place. I had this small little cupboard I had bought. And on top of that, I had laid a nice fabric, and I had got a picture of Kali, and I had kept it over there, and I used to speak to her, and I used to tell her, and I mean, I used to see her, that picture, as a friend. Someone, in front of whom I can vent and just be myself, and that's it. I can pour my heart out because I'm not getting judged, and look, she's so strong. So it was, very different kind of a feeling, to have her in the house. I come from a Muslim background. And in Islam, these things are seen as bad and demonic. They have their own Abrahamic, logic and philosophy. I mean, which is okay. Those who believe that it is good for them, okay, if it makes you a better human. But somewhere or the other, I did not develop that connection, even though I was raised by Muslim individuals in a Muslim family. I was forced into, worshipping, Allah, performing namaz, doing the Ramazan, fasting. I was forced into doing all of that, even, reading Quran. I was forced into a lot of things. They used to scare me that, God is going to burn you in hell if you don't listen to us. He's going to barbecue you, all that crap. I mean, religious narcissism. I mean, that's how I see it now. So, going back, in the month of July, this feeling was, increasing inside of me that I don't belong. I used to come back from work or from college, and I used to sit in front of her and I used to tell her that I'm really pissed with life. Neither my mother, nor father, nor sibling, I mean, nobody really cares about me. Nobody really understands me, or nobody, really wants to listen to me, what I have to say or how I feel on the inside. And I used to just tell her, and then I used to intoxicate and sleep, and then next morning again, either college or work, and it was like that. It was horrible. On the 20th of July, after I woke up, I had a bad day at work, and I felt really miserable. Or let me tell you guys, I mean, I was thrown out of work because I was working, on a client, and that client complained and said that, she's amateur and not doing things properly, she's distracted. I mean, and then, the owner of that salon said that, we don't need you anymore because a client has complained. And, to tell you honestly, I did not do anything wrong. It's just that that client was extremely demanding, and she wanted more of my time, and she wanted me to laugh and, entertain her during her work. And I was not in a good mood, so I was a little lost. But anyways, I did what, she wanted me to do. And I did the work, but she was not happy, and, she had her own, set of tantrums to throw. And she went ahead and complained, and, the owner of that salon said that you can leave. We don't need you, because she was one of the most loyal and permanent clients, and she's not satisfied. And, we can't have individuals who are unable to satisfy our clients. So it was a very people-pleasing kind of an environment over there. Now, when I look back, so I had lost a job. I had hardly a couple of thousand rupees, in my account. And I was just feeling so miserable. On the way back home, I mean, I was very sure that I just don't want to live. I'm just done. This is like a final nail in the coffin. And then I, stopped by a medical store and, bought a lot of sleeping pills. And I went back home. I bathed, and then, I took out all the sleeping meds that I had bought. I think it was around 200 pills. I took it out and I kept it in front of me. And I don't know, it was a very weird state I was in. I was high with other things also. I had alcohol. I had rolled a joint and had that. And then, I sat in front of, this picture that was there, of Maa Kali on that small little cupboard that I had. And I sat in front of her. I bathed, I got ready, and I sat in front of her. And I, looked at her and I said, I think this is the last interaction with you, and I think I'm done. Like, my family is fucked up. I don't have any good friends. My sibling, relative, everything is so fucked up. At work also, I'm fucked up. I was thrown even though it was not my mistake. I don't know, what I need to do. So I personally think I'm done here. I would like to end things. And I said this to her and I started feeling good. And then I, took all those sleeping pills one by one. And it took around, 20 minutes. And I took all, these sleeping pills. And I was just waiting that I might feel, dizzy and, finally I'll black out and then I'll die. And it took a while. After 45 minutes, I started feeling drowsy. And I was all ready, all ready and prepared that now I'm going to wake up in another dimension, another world. I'm not going to be here because this is, of course, going to be an overdose. Plus, I had other things, so it's going to be a cocktail and it'll be a final full stop for me. The end for me, in this world. I was really excited. I had, in fact, wore a nice dress and did a little makeup. And then I took all of this. First, I vented everything in front of, Maa Kali's picture. And then, I had all the tablets. And then after 45 minutes, I was just thinking. I had all the random thoughts. Everything was like a cinema, like a movie strip, running in front of me. Everything, like what happened in the childhood, how I was treated, what happened, when I left house. It was almost like a movie in front of me. I was just recalling. I was a little scared also. Because I chose, what I was, doing and engaging in. Of course, it was a conscious choice. I was a little scared, but, the idea of becoming free, the idea of coming out of this body was, relaxing. It was very liberating, the idea of coming out of this body, because this body was making me experience a lot of crap. That was my understanding back then. And I was excited, a little scared, and I had closed all the, the main door, and I started feeling a little drowsy, and I didn't have bed. There was a mattress. It was 1 BHK with one small kitchenette kind of a thing, a small toilet, a small balcony, and just one room. So there was this mattress, single bed mattress that I had put. I never had any bed. So I was there sitting on the mattress, and I started feeling drowsy, and I think I passed out. And then after a couple of minutes, what I started seeing was I am coming in and out of my body, if that makes sense. I was lying down on that mattress, and I could see, trying to stand, up trying to get out of my body. I'm lying flat, and I'm like, suppose this is me lying all flat, and this is me like getting up and again going down, lying down, again trying to get up and lying down. And I had that experience for a couple of minutes, that I'm trying to get up and I'm seeing my body, but then, when I'm looking back, I'm seeing my body absolutely lying flat. So I could see my body, lying flat, and me, you can say my spirit, my soul, trying to come out. 5-6 attempts, and then I stood. I just came out of this body, and I could see that my body was lying down. And there was a kind of a, happiness. There was a kind of, euphoria, happiness, freedom that I experienced, that, wow, I'm out of it. And I can see my room clearly. I remember there was power cut for a couple of times. I remember that also. And I'm seeing, her lying down on the mattress, a couple of, these critters crawling, because it was monsoon time, so crawling here and there. And I was really happy. I was like, wow, I did it. Now I'm out of that pathetic state. Now I'm free. And I was there in the room. I was feeling good. And I was just thinking, where do I need to go next? Now I'm out of the body. Now I can travel anywhere, any goddamn place that I want. And then all of a sudden, I was walking in the room. It was a very small room, around 14 feet by 14 feet, so that it can help you visualize. 14 by 14 feet small room, with mattress in one side, cupboard on the opposite side, where Maa Kali's picture was there. Now when I just turn and look at my cupboard, all of a sudden, I'm seeing a kind of a smoke. I don't know if you guys are aware, if you burn, incense, in India we call it dhoop. So there is this, beautiful, not thick and dense, but very light smoke that comes out. And that was the kind of smoke that I witnessed in front of that cupboard where her picture was there. All of a sudden, it became very smoky. And in no time, I was unable to see through, because it was growing a little dense. It was quite, weird for me. I was not prepared. I thought everything is going to be happy once I come out. And I was feeling happy and I was feeling free. But then this smoke formation happening, and the power had gone. Power had gone for 5 minutes. This happened in that period. And I see that the smoke is gray with a little bit of, how do I tell you guys? It was all gray, smoky, but there was these, sparkles of very light purple here and there, like those static charge, or like lightning, but not like that lightning that we get to see when there is thunder and lightning. No, but very tiny, bit of sparks, purple sparks here and there. Sparks which is very similar to those static balls. I don't know what is it called. It's like a globe, and it has a kind of a probe, or a kind of a thing in the center. It's all glass ball, and it creates that electrical spark feel. When you touch it, then it moves towards you. Otherwise it's just like this lightning, tiny setup. I don't know what is that called, like those static sparks. So I started seeing that spark in that thick smoke, and I think I I saw it developing for 3 to 4 minutes, from little smoky to heavily smoke, kind of a thing. I mean, thick, dense cloud smoke thing in between, with those purple sparks here and there. And all of a sudden, it started, just disappearing. And what I see is a woman, coming out of that smoke. So there is this cupboard in the background, there is smoke developing in front of it, and all of a sudden the smoke is reducing and it just vanishes. And in that period, the last bit of smoke just vanishing and disappearing, and then this lady comes through. And this lady happens to be a very dusky woman with super long hair, curly hair, and beautiful hair. And she comes through and she's right in front of me, and I'm feeling a little hesitant that, what is all this? I am here, I am out of this body, and I'm happy, and now I need to move and roam about and see world and do everything that I want. And what is this? And I'm feeling shit scared as well. I mean, my initial, emotion was happiness, freedom. But the moment I started seeing this phenomena in the corner of the room, I was a little uncomfortable, or you can say I was a little not prepared, and a wee bit scared also. And then when this woman fully appears, or you can say when she fully materializes, she is dark skinned, but not extremely dark, a little dark, long hair, even below her knees, and absolutely curly hair, beautifully groomed hair. And she's wearing this Indian attire, sari, which is white with red borders. And she's petite, she's not heavy or fat or healthy, she's petite, very gaunt face, like this, very chiseled, gaunt face, very beautiful face, but dark skin. And she started smiling at me, and it was so weird. Of course, I knew about ghosts and spirit. I used to hear stories about it, and I used to, listen to those priests who used to come and, teach us Arabic. They used to tell us stories how these ghosts hurt you, and how, these ghosts and evil spirits are burnt in hell and barbecued and done whatnot. I had, those things, in my memory. I was a little uncomfortable, but I thought that let me, make the first move. And then, I look at her, and I thought, let me start engaging with her. Let me start, understanding what is happening and where am I and who is she. And she has this very soft smile. And then I tell her, I'm out of the body, and I feel so free, and I'm so happy. And then she's smiling, and she's a little surprised, and she has that look, that that curiosity, as to what is this girl up to, what is she trying to do. She had that look on her face, as if she was really curious what I was doing. And then I started the conversation. I said, see, I'm out of the body, I'm free, I'm a free bird. And then she looks at me. She didn't say anything, and then I only ask her, why are you staring at me? Because I mean some way or the other, I am scared. I was scared, and it was my way of gauging whether everything is safe or not, whether everything is fine or in control or not. So I started the communication. And then I told her, why are you staring? Why are you not saying anything? And then she says that you're not supposed to be here. And that really irritated me. That really made me angry. I was like, and who are you to say this? And who are you to ask all this? Who are you, if I may know? And then she's smiling. And, I was really irritated, triggered, agitated. And then I started telling her, you have got no idea what shit I have gone through. And finally, I have got hold of things that helped me, come out of that miserable state. And now you are telling me that I'm not supposed to be here and all this crap. And you're giving me that, sarcastic smile. And you're looking at me as if, I shouldn't be here. You're making me feel that way and asking all these weird things. And then she started smiling. And all of a sudden, I started feeling calm and relaxed. I can't, put it in words. This is, the simplest way I can express. I was angry, and the moment I started seeing her smile, all of a sudden I was calm and relaxed. And then I asked her again, and who are you? And when I'm asking her, I'm smiling, I'm feeling good, a little lighter, not that scared of her. I'm, a little comfortable. And I ask her, and who are you? Can you please tell me? And then she's telling me that people call me Maa Kali. And then I was a little shocked. And, I looked at her and I was like, Maa Kali? She looks different. You look different. And then she started laughing. Ha 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 ha. And I also started laughing. Ha ha ha. And then, she caught my hand. And all of a sudden, I started seeing her as Kali in her form. Till the time she had not touched me, I was seeing her as a dark, dusky woman, but pretty, very chiseled face, high cheekbone, very contoured, pretty. And when she said that, I'm Maa Kali, people call me Maa Kali. And when I started laughing, my response was, as if, this is ridiculous. And I started laughing, and then she caught my hand. And the moment she held my hand, and, I blinked and I opened and I saw her in her fierce form. And I was like, what is happening? I had a lot of questions in my head. What the F? What is happening? And then again, she became, that beautiful form, not that fierce and, aggressive and strong and dominant, not that form. Till the time she had held my hand, I could see her, who she was. But the moment she released my hand, I could see her in the normal form. And I was so relaxed. I was shit scared to see her form. And I was relaxed at the same time. And then I started telling her like a kid, a kid, whose, words are not taken seriously, a kid that is neglected. All of a sudden, I started crying in that state. I started crying and telling her, you have no idea what all is done to me. And she's just patiently listening to me and smiling. And I'm telling her, pouring everything out. And I poured out everything. I said that, I was molested, I was abused, I was sexually abused, I was cheated, I was done this and that, I was put through this and that. And she's just smiling and looking at me. And I'm just pouring. And then again she, took my hand And then she looked me into my eyes, and it was very piercing, as if, she is going through me. I don't know how, I should explain this, but it was a piercing gaze. She was just looking at me, and, it was very piercing. And then she's telling me, you have to go back and do a lot of things. You have to go back and help a lot of people. Now I'm there with you. And whenever you need me, I will be there. So just go back. It's not your time. You have to go back. And I started crying again. I don't want to go back. I did so much, to, come out of that miserable state. But, then in a very stern, commanding voice, she says, you will have to go back. You have got a lot of things to do. And I was, very confused. I already came back from somewhere, and I somehow have poured my heart out, and I'm feeling better and free. And again, she's telling me that I have to go back. And I started crying. I said, no, I don't want to go back. And, she started smiling again, and she said, you have to go back. That kind of a dynamic where she knows what she will eventually do, and I want to stop that. And she is just, treating me like a, child, that you will have to go back. You won't be allowed over here. And then, she pushed me. I'm standing, and she grew a little big in size. And I felt, a very domineering energy, coming out from her, and then she pushes me like this. I still remember, a little wheatish palm with dark skin lining and very slender and long fingers. She just pushed me. And when she pushed, I felt as if, I am in this dark tunnel with some flashes here and there. I'm just falling like a sinkhole, no, or like a well, dark well, and I'm just falling in, and I could feel that, something is pulling me down. My shoulders are heavy, my feet are heavy, and I'm just being pulled down. And there are bits of flashes here and there, but it's like a dark place when I'm being pulled down. And the next thing that I see is that I'm lying down, my eyes are open, and my heart is racing, and I'm just, turning my head here and there. And again, I feel, as if I'm in the body. And then I started touching myself, and started feeling myself. Of course, I was on that mattress, so I quickly touched the ground to see if at all this is real. I'm back. And sadly, I was back. I was really sad that I was back. And then I got up. It was morning. And, already 2 days had passed. And it was morning around 11. And then, I went into the kitchen. The kitchen had a small little, shelf where I used to cook my food, and the induction was there, cooktop. And there was this charging, socket there. So I had put my phone on charge, and I had turned it off. I went and I turned on my mobile, and there was so many missed calls and missed call alert of my landlord, and of a couple of my friends that I had, but they were all addicts, not friend, But the cult that I had joined, I mean that addiction cult, cult of addicts. So their calls were there, the landlord's calls were there. And then I called him, the landlord. He was an old man, 80-year-old man, very nice. He used to really, love me like his daughter. He had no children and he used to really love me like his daughter. And then I called him and he was like very angry and worried. What happened? What are you doing? I went twice, 2 days, once in the evening, one the other day, and you're calling me today. What happened? You didn't open the door. I knew you were inside. And I mean, I had to lie. I said I was sick. I had taken some medicine and I was sleeping. And then he said that your maid also was knocking, and we were worried. We thought something happened to you. You should have responded at least, or come down and informed me about your situation, your health issue, whatsoever. And then I apologized, and I mean, he was genuinely concerned about me. And I mean, it took a while for me, I mean around 10-15 hours, to really stabilize myself, because what I had, I think when I was there with her, it was around a 30-minute trip, and in reality it was 2 days. I hope that makes sense. So it was 30-minute interaction with her and me coming out. It was only 30 minutes. I did not see much change. There were these glasses on the window, so I did not see much of the changes. I could see, dim lights, and, it was neither morning or night, what I was seeing when I was out of my body. So it was a kind of a 30-35 minute interaction with her, me seeing my body and everything, going and coming back. But over here on earth, it was 2 days. And it was, very good experience and weird at the same time. And then I, bathed, I cooked some food, and I was just thinking about it. And then, I went to a temple, a Kali temple. And then there was a priest over there. I told him about this. And I mean, he never ridiculed me, or he never, judged me for my experience. Of course, I didn't tell the whole story. I didn't tell him that, I was trying to unalive myself. I didn't tell him all of that. I just went ahead and told him that I had a dream and I saw so and so things. And I keep her photograph at home and I like her. I like her. And then I told him, and then he was like, he helped me decode it. He said that, she chooses, individuals. You cannot call her. She reveals herself to whoever she pleases and chooses. So you can, worship her, I mean, like other people do. But what you experienced was that she really wants to come into your life or get in touch with you or be in contact with you. And that really felt good. And it did make sense, because, what I used to see was people doing all sorts of things, puja, ritual to please her. And, all of a sudden I get to feel her and experience her and meet her. So it was a very different feeling. Definitely I felt special. I had this feeling on the inside that, wow, this is such a great thing. I mean, the entity, the deity that I'm crazy about, who I feel very energized and happy, just looking at her picture, finally I get to meet her. Or let's put it this way, I mean, she maybe heard my call and, she, interacted with me. So, this priest helped me decode that. And then I asked him that I come from a different background, but I like her. And ever since I'm alone, I keep a picture of her and I talk to her. I, just pour my heart out. I hope she didn't get angry. I asked this priest, I hope she didn't get pissed because I keep pouring, my emotions, and I keep pouring out, whatever I went through. And then he said, just do whatever you feel like. There is no do's and don'ts. She, has come into your life. Now you see how, you want to go about and do things. I'm no one to comment. You can definitely worship her. You can, treat her like your friend, like your mother, like your sibling. It's up to you. When she reveals, it's your and her business. I have nothing to say. And then I started, exploring Tantra. I started, reading about her Maa Kali and, her various forms and, who she is, what she's all about, all these stories. I, started reading, and it was almost like I got into a relationship. After witnessing her after that near-death experience, it was almost like I was in relationship with her. And to tell you honestly, it almost felt like, there is no more void. I felt there was a void after, leaving my house and moving out, and them not understanding me or, caring about my emotion. There was this void. But after that interaction with her, all of a sudden I had no void. I felt whole. Of course, I had my own struggle and challenges. I was still battling addiction, but I started feeling whole. I was not desperate anymore to make relationship or get into relationship or, make friend. All of a sudden, I felt whole. I don't need anyone. I'll just study, I'll work, I'll somehow survive. And all of a sudden, I started having this strength, which was not there earlier. And I felt that I'm not alone. I'm no more alone. Of course, there was nothing physical and tangible apart from her picture. But deep inside, at the core, I felt I'm no more alone. And, since then, a lot of things changed. I became more psychic. I was able to sense things. I was able to, see things that was, about to happen. I used to, get these visions and, answers in my dreams. And in most of the cases, it was 100% correct and accurate. So a lot of this precognition, psychic ability, remote viewing, whatever you call, everything almost, heightened. There was a rise of all these things inside of me. It was weird, but it was good also because it was helping me. I was able to, manage things better. And then, I got another job at a clinic. And again, my studies were also going on, and this job was also going on because I had to survive. I had to make money and, earn money to have a roof on the head and, get food and, pay for my college. So a lot of these weird things started happening after that encounter. Health-wise, I was absolutely okay, but I was able to sense others' feeling and intention and emotion towards me. It helped me, narrow my circle more. It helped me get rid of those drug friends, that, community that I was a part of. I was still addicted. I was still battling addiction, but I was not doing it with people. I was doing it in my private space because there was a lot of pain and trauma, that I felt I won't be able to manage and process if I was not numbing myself. Now, there was this conversation that I used to have with her, and on and off in my dream, she used to give me answers. Sometimes she used to tell me what to do, what not to do, and most of the time, whenever I used to follow her suggestion and lead, it used to work in my favor. But then, I did fall ill, and it was after 3 years that I had to undergo an operation, a surgery. And again, during that surgery, my doctor informed me that I flatlined for around 20 or 21 seconds. Now, this 20-21 seconds, I was, dead and gone. Of course, a lot of apparatus was hooked onto me, so they were able to see my vitals and everything. And this time, I did, come out of the body again, and I met my dead mother. I saw her, and she took me, we were flying. She took me to London, where she showed me a small little girl. She was born as a small little girl with a scar on her face, because my mother, in reality, I think in 2005 or 2006, she died in an accident, and that accident had, caused a scar, when that injury was there. So she took me to London. We came out of a railway station, and then she took me to a location, and the door opened, and there was this small girl, and she had a scar in that side of the face that my mother had, during the time of her death. And my mother in general was very abusive, but in that experience, when I was out, dead and gone as per my doctors, she did not appear to be abusive. She was domineering, but she was just not interested to know how I was or what I was going through. It was almost like she was waiting on the other side, and she wanted to tell me that I'm born again. Now, when I look back, it's quite unsettling and uncomfortable. Why do you have to come back to traumatize others? But anyways, she showed me that, and then she said that this child is going to recall everything that I have experienced and gone through. It didn't make sense. Whatever she was saying, it didn't make sense. Till now, it feels, weird. But yeah, her scar, that small little girl who opened the door, her scar, very similar. And that girl was around, you can say, 8-year-old. So this NDE I had in 2013. And then this girl thing, and then she said something more which I don't remember. And then we both started floating again. We both, started flying above the ground, and all of a sudden I felt that I was zapped into something. And I again met Maa Kali, and this time she was sitting on a chair, and she looked a little uh, in some deep thought kind of a state, a little pensive or a little stern, and she felt as if she was thinking something was going inside her head. And she was sitting on a chair, and then she turned towards me. All of a sudden I appeared, and it was all dark, and she was sitting, the focus was on her. She was illuminating, and she was sitting there. She looked at me, and then she tells me, whenever you need me, you can call me, but now again you'll have to go back. And all of a sudden, I felt very frustrated. Again, I have come out, and I recently had a trip with my abuser. My abuser, you know, has taken birth again, and my abuser's spirit is taking me somewhere. I mean, it was very weird, and all of a sudden, then I see you. No doubt I like you. I connect with you. I'm able to channel you. But again, now you're telling me to go back. And then I was like, whoa, did I die this time as well? Because otherwise, she won't say this. And then I asked her, am I dead? And, like a frustrated mother, she's like, I cannot answer anything. You will have to go back. And again, I could see, those wheatish, a little dusky palm, long, beautiful fingers. And then again, she pushes me. And, I just wake up with all those lights. I was in the operation theater, all those lights on my face, and, and the doctors are like hitting me like this and like this. Very weird smell. And, the doctor, that lady doctor, she's whispering in my ear, thank God I didn't lose you. And again, I just, slept. I just dozed off. I lost the senses. I was like again asleep. And then, I recovered, and then she told me what all happened. So these were, two of the major, things that happened in my life that has left a deep watermark on my psyche. In no ways I can fathom Kali at this point of time. I cannot fathom her the way how people project her. I see her as a friend. I see her as a sister. I see her as a mother. And, I'm not scared of her. I did read a lot about her, and I think, I know who I met. It was her. And I feel good. I feel good because I was able to meet someone who I really liked, who I was really attracted to. She definitely doesn't come and, give me fortune. No. She doesn't, come and help me do the work. No. But when I'm in this emotional, distressful state, that is the time I see her, I feel her around me. And all of a sudden, I find a solution for myself. So it's not that she's spoon feeding me or, creating things for me, but life has become better. Or you can say I am more logical and practical and rational and not emotional, volatile. if that makes sense. So I have become a better version ever since I met her. I did, make a painting of Maa Kali in her fierce form, and it feels good. Um, I do, meditate and, try and connect her and channel her. And it's for my own nourishment. Um, Me being a human, I, you know, did, try and ask her for things, which I shouldn't. And of course, I regret and I apologize for that. But to tell you honestly, these entities, these energies, these forces, they are there to, you know, in a way accelerate your, spiritual evolvement. They are not there to, help you win a lottery. Don't have those things in your mind, because I also had it. I thought, if I can feel her and I can see her, maybe let me ask her if she can help me. But she did not. But all what she did in return, or all what she did instead, was to make me strong and capable. So, that fragile, that victim mindset was there, where I asked her that, can you help me make my life better? Can you help me get a better job? Can you help me, have money? And she turned deaf ear. She was like, not interested. I didn't get any reply from her. But I became more intelligent. I started becoming more successful. I started becoming more aligned. And then, there was this maturity that was growing inside of me. No impulsive buying and shopping. With time, I got over my addiction problem. So she transformed me at a core and at a deeper level. But yeah, me being a miserable human in this human body and the experiences that I had, there was a time when I was, wanting, her to help me, but her help arrived in a very different way. It was not like, a box of money outside my door the next day. No. She gave me that intelligence. She gave me that intuition. She gave me that resilience. She gave me that power to stand up again and keep fighting and keep moving on. So she made me a better person for sure. She did not make me a rich person or someone who would win a lottery. But what she gave me was this strength, no void. Definitely, I have, the memories of my childhood and what I have gone through. I do talk about it. And, I did pursue my study in psychology. I did complete my master's. And for some time, I was helping people. But with time, I realized that, I mean, I can help people from a distance also. And one more interesting thing happened. I think this was like 5 years or 7 years back. When I felt that if I'm feeling her and if I'm connecting to her, Maa Kali, why not talk about her? Now, this is going to be interesting. And I started talking about her. I started, making videos and telling people, random strangers. I started, publicizing her and talking about her, that, I had so and so experience. Why don't you try? And, she's cool. She's amazing. Everyone can get in touch. And that was, the greatest mistake of my life. She never told me to do that. I started doing it. Out of this happiness and out of this, feeling that I have got something and I'm special. So I started talking about it, and I started making videos, and I started talking to people about it and sharing this experience. I started talking about various mantras. I mean, whatever mantras that I was researching, I mean, those sacred mantras to chant and connect to her. And she stopped coming to me. I did all of these things, talking about her, talking about my experience, and trying to, in a way, sell her, publicize her, trying to tell others about her. And I felt that she left. She was nowhere to be found. I stopped feeling her presence. I felt she was missing. She wasn't there. Not in the dream, nowhere. And then one day I had a very weird dream where it was not her. I mean, it wasn't her, but there was a voice. I'm sitting on a mountain, top of a mountain, and there is this voice who is telling me that she chooses who she wants to reveal. You can't tell people, or you can't, meet random people and tell them to channel her and call her. She will not hear anyone's call. She chooses who she wants to reveal herself to. And I felt this weird heaviness and this guilt that what the hell did I do? What the fuck did I do? Why did I do it? This was so stupid. She never said anything. She just said that you have got a lot of work to do. In both the interactions, she just said, you have got a lot of work to do. It's not your time yet. And then she said that whenever you need me, I'm there. But she never said that go about doing marketing for her. Not at all. And it was stupid of me to do that because of this excitement, a spiritual encounter, out of body, near-death experience, a weird experience that is very real till today. So, I mean, why not, tell others also to connect to her? And I personally feel the problem was not with me sharing my experience. The main problem was me telling others to connect to her, to worship her. And this is what the voice reminded me, when I was on that mountain, and that voice, that she reveals herself, she chooses, who she wants to connect to. You have no right to tell people to connect to her. She chooses. People cannot choose. People can do anything, but she will not reveal herself. She chooses. And there was this weird guilt, after that dream. There was this weird guilt. I mean, for months and years, I felt guilty. And then, I started, removing all those content. I started, talking less about her. I stopped my communication with all those individuals who I was, telling and educating about her. I stopped everything. I removed the content. I stopped talking to, those folks. They might be feeling abandoned, but I'm sorry. I stopped talking to all of them. I stopped I stopped talking about her. I stopped talking to all of them, and I distanced myself, and I got rid of all the content that I had created, how to channel her, how to connect her. And one fine day, during one of the Kali pujas, by that time I had met my husband, and then I had already painted a very beautiful picture of a oil painting. I thought, let me create her. Definitely, this picture was, a copy, of the picture that I found on the internet. This was not, the way how she looked when I met her. No, this is, I think, on the internet and in circulation. So I took that picture and I painted in oil painting. And before Kali Puja, I thought of getting you can say it's a kind of a what to say, we call it bindi in Hindi. It's called bindi. It's like a small little sticker kind of a thing that you put it on your forehead, like a tilak, like a bindi. So I went to the jeweler and I got a moon shape, gold, bindi, pure gold bindi. And I painted, and I was dating my husband then, and then he was also excited. Wow, this is so good. I mean, he also comes from a traumatic background. So, it was a very new thing. He was also super excited, and I told him, why don't you do the background, then I'll sketch and do it. So we made it, and then, I got this bindi, and I, did stick it, on her forehead. It's still there. I'll try and attach, one of her picture in this video so that you guys can see. And that night, I sat down and I started, chanting a mantra. I started meditating on her, and then I hear her voice again. And then, she's telling me, see, now you're not alone anymore. And it was almost like, a friend or a relative who's very happy with what you have achieved, who comes and says, oh, finally you made it, so proud of you. That was her tone. And I was hearing this, I was feeling and hearing this, while meditating. And my husband, my boyfriend then, when I was seeing this and hearing this, of course I was just focused on her. Her picture was in front and I had closed my eyes. He started hearing, sounds of trinkets, very weird, and it was night, like 1 a.m, all silent. The place where we used to stay, it was very interior and very silent, like absolutely pin drop silent. And he started hearing this trinket, sound, and he's like poking me. It was his first time also, such a thing. And he's like poking me, and he's coming close, to my ear, and he's telling me, Sarah, I hear some trinket. And I was like, just shut up and let me do what I'm doing. And I was just focusing on her. And then again he started poking me and telling me, Sarah, I can hear, someone, blowing the conch. It's a kind of a seashell kind of a thing, a snail or seashell. I don't know. That's used in the pujas and in the rituals. It's very beautiful white color. And he's telling me I can hear that. And he's like all, scared. But then I caught his hand and I was, just chanting and, connecting to her. And then I just, did hold his hand. And he was quiet. Then he didn't hear anything. But while I was chanting and meditating and hearing her and you can say interacting with her, trying to establish communication with her, I also remember hearing trinket sounds and conch sound. But anyways, I was not scared, and I told him that don't be scared, these kind of things will happen. With me, it happens with me, and now you are, with me, so please get used to it. Hey, I'm so sorry for the interruption because, my microphone's battery, got over. It was dead. So now I have again plugged it in. So let me complete this. I mean, after that, puja, that meditation, and my husband also, now my husband, back then he was my boyfriend. I mean, after experiencing all of these things, I mean, I could see that he also, he never believed in anything. But after that experience, he also started, worshipping her in his own way, not, the way how majority does. So, I mean, he has his own way of, connecting to her. And I have seen, I never forced him, but I have seen he developed his own unique relationship with her. Though he never had any NDEs, or, he didn't see her in any of his dreams, but in general, I have seen he has evolved ever since he sits in front of her and, tries and connects to her. I see he is transforming as a person. He is no more the same person. He's become more intelligent, more strong, more rational. He has better grip over his emotion. So, I mean, he has his own way of connecting to her. I have my own way to connect to her. And it feels home. It doesn't feel abnormal, weird, or scary, nothing like that. So, I mean, I do believe, that entities are there. I do believe that, there are, different kinds of energy and life form out there. Some are superior, some are inferior, some are powerful, some are, not that powerful. And, Kali for sure is a strong force that is very intelligent. I will not, encapsulate her power, intelligence, and divinity into the box of a mother or a goddess. She's beyond all of these things. So, I mean, I don't see her, as a, angry goddess or as a merciful mother. She feels like a mother to me, but I see her in all forms. So I don't, box her or cage her that she is a ma, she is a mother. No, she is a different force and energy altogether. We cannot humanize her. I think that is the, greatest, injustice. I think, that is the, worst thing that you can do, to all these entities and energies, trying to put them in boxes and see them as a father figure or as a mother figure. No, they are powerful and you cannot reduce them, to your level, to my level. No, these are, I mean, how do I, say this? They are intelligent, they are conscious, they are, not physical but metaphysical, and these forces are there. So see them as forces, see them as powerful entities rather than making them mother, father, grandmother. I disagree, that mindset, because what you are trying to do, I mean what majority is trying to do, is to reduce her into all these human constructs. I mean, creating stories and treating her like another woman. No, she's way too superior. And maybe that is the reason why, people are unable to connect to her. By just going to a temple and doing the chores and ritual, it does nothing. You need to connect to them on a spiritual level. Yeah, I mean, show business is different. you know Connecting to these entities is a different thing. So, I mean, there's a lot of this show business out there that she's merciful, she's this, she's that. I don't buy that. And to tell you honestly, I mean, no matter how you see her, you cannot match her energy. You cannot encapsulate her. You cannot process her 100%. She's way too superior. She is way beyond your small little mind of seeing her as mama and auntie and a daughter and creating those stories. No, don't do that. She's very superior and very powerful. So definitely she has filled that void. I don't need a mother, I don't need a sister, I have her. But that doesn't mean that I'll reduce her to that level. She's that she is that vast and powerful that she can fill in every blank space in your life without you even knowing. I hope I hope you understand what I mean. So reducing her to being a mother and this and that, I think that's not right. She's way too superior. I mean, just what people are doing is just degrading her. She is so vast and intelligent and dynamic and powerful, and you're creating stories where she's doing household chores and doing the basic thing. I mean, it's okay, I mean, if it works, but these forces are very different. And if you start respecting them for who they are rather than reducing them or try to reduce them to your level, making them mother, auntie and daughter and all that, you won't be able to connect to her. I mean, this is my personal feeling. And again, these energies, they reveal themselves. These entities, they reveal themselves. They choose who they want to connect to. It's not that I wanted, so I just connected to her. No, definitely I was pouring, talking and doing all sorts of things, but it was her who initiated. She came in my life. Even though I was venting and chasing and talking, doing all sorts of things, but it didn't occur, it didn't happen. So it's up to these energies, these entities. They will choose when they want to reveal themselves to you or when they want to connect to you. You can't just keep chanting and expect them to come and do your chores. No, I mean, I was stupid to expect those things. But to tell you, these energies, these entities are way superior and intelligent. So see them for who they are. Don't humanize them. I mean, this is my suggestion. You can study her definitely, and there are various paths to connect to her and to channel her. But I mean, my suggestion is know her, study her, explore her, and then just leave it. Don't be obsessed. Just leave it. If you have some process and ritual, follow that. If you have your own way of meditating and chanting and doing things to help you focus on her, do that. But don't have this expectation that she's going to come one day. Just do what makes you feel good, because she's such an energy, such a divinity that comes unannounced and you can't control or do anything. So just be yourself, and you don't have to fake anything. Just think about her, study her, see her, meditate on her picture. Those are the suggestions. Rest, I mean, it's your journey. You have to cover, you have to see what works for you. So I mean, I don't do anything specific, but yes, I mean, every day for an hour I do meditate on her. I do, chant, her mantras. I do look at her. I just look into her eyes, and I just, sit and focus on her, and on and off I keep chanting. That's all. So it's different for everyone. Let's not humanize these things. Let's take them the way they are, rather than making them something auntie, uncle, mother, daughter, and rather than creating stories. Because what we are doing is we are reducing these entities and these amazing energies to a human level, and then they don't connect. You have to alleviate yourself. You have to you know charge yourself in a specific way. You cannot downgrade them and bring them onto your level. You have to match their energy. You have to do the work. So again, I mean, it's your own spiritual path and journey. Whatever you believe in, just be loose and do, and don't expect anything. Whoever, I mean, you believe in, just try and meditate on them, and that's it. You don't think that they should listen to you or they should come to you because you are chanting or you are praying or you're doing anything. Have zero expectation, then things will happen. So I mean, this was something that I really wanted to talk about, and I thought that let me record it and keep it on my channel, because in future I am thinking of writing a book about all the experiences that I had, whether it was NDE, out of body experiences that I had while meditating, while sleeping, while walking, a hell lot of experiences I have. So I thought the easiest way is to record a video and just put it on my channel, so that it helps others also. And in future maybe I can create a transcript of the video, and then maybe I can add in my book. And that's what my plan is, because I feel so lazy to write at times. I mean, 10-15 lines are okay, but 1,000 of words, I still wonder how I managed to write the 3 books that I have written. I think I'm turning old, so I mean, whatever, let's see. So yes, I mean, these were 2 of my NDs that I wanted to share with all of you. And also I would want to tell you guys, I mean, after these interactions, of course, my psychic ability has definitely evolved and increased. One other weird thing that I have noticed is that I feel electrical appliances or devices or gadgets, they start malfunctioning, and they don't malfunction when I'm happy. When I'm sad and angry, I feel there is some kind of a weird interference, and it happens. Like my mobile hangs. I use the best of the best gadgets, but still it hangs. TV all of a sudden starts flickering. It's not when I am happy and stable and calm. No, it's only when I'm anxious, stressed. No, I think anxious and angry. That is the time when I see these things malfunction. I mean, I have seen a couple of times that all of a sudden my husband's iPad starts playing a video, and again, there is no hacking and anything. I mean, it's all safe and protected, no hacking thing in the background, but it happens. His things also start malfunctioning. So I don't know. I mean, I'm I mean, based on my observation, these things malfunction around me. I mean, when I'm very anxious or angry. Otherwise, everything works fine. So yes, I mean, this was it. I mean, 2 NDEs, uh, lots of learning. I mean, I've definitely evolved, and I feel good. I've been able to connect to a very amazing force, energy, divinity, whatever you call, and I feel good. I feel good to reconnect, you know, with her, because I had lost connection, and then I stopped talking about her. And again, this video is not about her, but about my, NDE and how I came across her. And this video is not to promote her or to tell you to explore her or find, things about her. It's your own path and journey. Because I mean, I personally feel I don't want to lose my connection. So everyone's business is different. You see what works for you. You decide who you want to connect to. You can, for sure, and don't reduce them to your level. Just do what you're doing, and they will reveal, things will reveal to you. Yeah, so yes, this was it. Please take care of yourself, and be open. There are a lot of things out there. It's just that we have to pull ourselves, and we have to tune ourselves, and then they will reveal. We will be able to connect, and don't try and reduce them, whatever is out there. So yes, this was my bit. I mean, my life has changed. It's transformed. I feel good. I feel happy. And I'm not a millionaire or a billionaire, or I have, thousands and thousands of, dollars or rupees in my bank account. No, I'm just a normal person. But yeah, the kind of experience that I had in this journey of life, I think I'm wealthy based on my experiences. Money, land, house, no, I don't have any of it. I have sufficient, but not a lot. But yeah, I mean, I have plethora of, experiences, and I think I'm rich in that, sense. But otherwise, I'm just like you and others. So yes, this was it. Take care of yourself, and I'm going to talk about my other experiences also. So this is going to be a kind of series with NDE, then other OBEs and other entities and things that I experienced and I connected. So I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to make a separate playlist, and that's it. Take care of yourself. I'll see you again. Bye.